Hello students, good afternoon. Hello students, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon, sir.
Yeah, good afternoon. Okay friends, on that you have seen what are the steps involved in finding the resultant of given coplanar force system. So at present situation in statics, you have to work just for coplanar forces. So what are the steps are involved on that? You have seen all these steps. Just in brief, I will summarize all this. Number one is all given forces you have to resolve into their x as well as y component. That is your step number one. Number two, you have to take algebraic sum of x component of forces. So when you are taking algebraic sum of x component of forces, what you have to do? If force is to the right, you have to do positive sign, and if left, you have to do negative sign. If overall answer is positive, it indicates that x component of resultant is to the right. If answer is negative, it indicates that your x component of the resultant is to the left. So that is your conclusion. Similarly, next step is to check the algebraic sum of component forces along y-axis. Here also, same activity you have to perform. If it is upward, you have to consider positive, downward, you have to consider negative. If overall answer is positive, it indicates that your y component is upward. And if it is minus, it indicates that your y component is downward. It's so simple. Okay. So in that way, x component of the resultant you have seen, y component of the resultant you got, and then you have to find out first answer, that is magnitude of the resultant. How to find out that? So one simple formula used for that is resultant equals to square root of summation of fx square plus summation of fy square. This is your formula used to find out magnitude of the resultant. After finding magnitude of the resultant, you have to find out its direction, because it is directed in first, second, third, or fourth. How it is directed? So for that, with simple formula you have to use, and that formula is theta equals to tan inverse summation of fy divided by summation of fx. With that, you get direction of the resultant. So not only magnitude and direction, along with that, one more activity is very important, and that activity is to find its position. Position of the resultant is equally important, and position of the resultant is defined by using the Varignon's law or Varignon's theorem, or it may be called as the law of moment also. Either you can call law of moment, you can call it the Varignon's theorem, what you have to call, you decide, and accordingly, that theorem you have to use to define position of the resultant. Okay. Then, this Varignon's theorem is applicable only when the magnitude of resultant is not equals to 0. And already on that day I told, this is the only first topic of inorganic mechanics in which resultant force is not equals to 0. In rest of the topic, resultant force is equals to 0. So Varignon's theorem is not applicable. So its use is very limited, and it's in this topic only. That also you have to remember. Okay. No, that much work already you have seen on that day. Then, please do one thing. You can refer any textbook. At the beginning, you can refer Ekit Tayar, for example, and then slowly and steadily, you can go for different textbooks or references. The most important or very powerful book is Engineering Mechanics by Beer and Johnson. There is also one more very nice copy, but it is slightly difficult to understand at this level. Then, how you are learning this subject, accordingly, go ahead, and ahead. There is one more book by R.C. Hibbeler. R.C. Hibbeler is also very renowned scientist or renowned author, we can say, and very nicely examples are sought in that book. Benefit of foreign author is in that if you are understanding one problem, automatically that single problem is equivalent to many more problems of our Indian author. So that is also one more benefit associated with foreign authors or foreign references, we can say. Okay, so do one thing, you refer any textbook or you can go through Google, and what is proof of Varignon's theorem, that proof please write in your notebook. I will not waste much time in just writing the same thing I will write here, and you just observe how I write. Okay, so refer any textbook, refer any notes, or you can use Google also, and just search for the proof of Varignon's theorem, and please write that proof in your notebook. Is it okay? Is it acceptable to you?
Yes, sir.
Okay, fine. So next time when you are coming, come with, not come with, just show me that I have written proof of Varignon's theorem in your notebook. Okay, so what is your Varignon's theorem? Varignon's theorem state that the algebraic sum of moment of all component forces about any point is always equals to moment of their resultant about same point. That is your Varignon's theorem. It's a very simple statement, and that statement you have to prove, and you can refer any textbook, whichever proof you feel simple. Accordingly, you can copy that in your notebook and try to understand also. Okay, now that much work already you have seen. Okay, on that day I told what exactly you have to do in this topic. In this topic, you have to find out resultant. Many forces are given. For example, 10 forces are given. these 10 forces you have to club together and you have to find out a single resultant force. That single force is resultant of all these 10 forces that also you have to summarize. Okay. For explaining these different coplanar force system, whatever forces I have shown, there is one particular name for these forces, and these forces are called as the point forces. Point forces or direct forces or normal force, like that. Suppose this is one force, it is acting at one particular point. So that is called as a point force. Our forces must be point forces, they must act at particular point, then only solution is possible. So such type of forces which are acting at particular point, these forces are called as a point forces, point loading or direct loading. Okay, because directly it is acting at the point. But some practical examples if you are looking, always you will not find point forces. Sometimes point forces are there. One example of point force I will tell you, column. In case of construction of a building at the beginning, you might have seen that all we are erecting all these columns. And above that column, then you are placing the slab. So that slab we are casting, we can say. And that slab is resting on these columns. So these columns are the example of point force. So total weight is acting at the centroid of the column. So such type of loads are called as a point loads. In practice, every time loads are not point loads, but loading must be point loading, then only solution is possible, otherwise solution is not possible. So what you have to do, if some other type of loads are available, these other types of loads, you have to convert it in terms of point load and then you have to solve the problem. So for that, different types of loadings are available. Okay. So what are these types of loading? These types of loadings we will discuss. But before that, what I will do, I will go for some very simple and sample problems related to coplanar forces. So please remember, now what we have to do, whatever forces are given, these forces I have to convert into a single largest force, and the single largest force is called as a point load or is called as a resultant force. Okay. Now look for that. These coplanar forces are divided into four categories. Number one, collinear. Number two, concurrent. Number three, parallel. And number four, general. You have to solve these four categories. Out of these four categories, problems related to first categories are not needed because these problems are very simple. Just for example, now look for that. First category is collinear coplanar force system. If I have to find out resultant of collinear coplanar force system, exactly what I have to do? Look for that. These two forces are here, or three forces I can see. These three forces. This is 10 Newton, this is 20 Newton, and this is 5 Newton. These are three forces. These three forces I have to convert it in terms of single. Look for that. Equals to 10 plus 20 is 30. 30 plus 5 is 35. So I can write like this. So it's a single force of magnitude 35 Newton. All are directing to the right. That's why all are plus. It's so simple. So look for the answer. What exactly we are doing here? To the right we are considering as positive. Plus 10, plus 20, plus 5. Final answer is 35. For example, in this force, there is one more force which is directed in the opposite direction, and its magnitude is 15 Newton that I have added. Then what happens? I have to do positive sign for 10, positive for 20, positive for 5, but negative sign I have to do for 15. Okay. Yes?
I can't see the board. It's so blurred.
Just 1 minute. Hello, try to observe because I think some net issues are there because here everything is fine, but why blurring is coming that I can't understand. Everyone is facing same issue.
Sir, if you draw a little bit bigger, then we can see.
Yes, sir,
Is
we
it
can
visible?
understand like
Not a.
Sir,
try to
sir, if,
see,
sir,
because
if you
from my
talk bigger,
side
then we
there
can see.
everything is perfect. Some net issues are there in campus itself. Some net issues are going on since morning. Somehow I'm trying with my cell net. Okay, so at least listen, just like a kirtan. So sometimes that blurring problem is coming. I'm trying from my side. Okay. Still, what I will do, I will go for a very simple problem so that some stretching is not required, much understanding is not required. Okay. So you have to bear with me because some net issues are there. I'm trying to resolve these net issues. Okay. Okay, some of the things are not in our hand, but every day I'm trying to add something so that our lecture becomes very effective. But some such type of issues are coming because here for me I can see that board, but some blurring is coming that I can understand. Okay, so still at least you can realize this course is to the right 10, this is to the right 20, right plus. So this addition is coming as 35, and in that one more force I am putting in opposite direction, its magnitude is 15. So what I have to do? This is plus, 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 and from this I have to subtract. So from 35, if I will subtract 15, what answer I will get? 20 answer I will get. So this force is 20 Newton. 20 Newton. So this is your answer. So in case of collinear force system, finding of resultant is very simple. Nothing you have to do. Just you have to go on adding and subtracting. Automatically you will get answer. Okay, this is so simple. That's why you don't have to solve problems related to collinear. Just you have to go for next category, that is your concurrent coplanar force system. This is simple.
माझं व्ह्यू चेक करा मला कन्फ्युजन माझं
Learning होतं.
माझं बघा माझं
इथं काहीच येत नाही.
स्क्रीन आपण बंदच केलं
Can you see the screen?
No, sir.
Just wait, wait.
गेलं मी कुठे गेलो
असंच
ही दुसरी लिंक आहे तुमचं जॉईन आहे ह्याच्याने यायला येतं माझ्या ह्याच्यात जा म्हणून सांगतो
नाही तरी पण बरोबरच आहे.
नाहीच ब्लर नेटचा प्रॉब्लेम आहे
Friends, I tried by different way. Still, it's not possible. Somehow, please bear with me. Then, in your vector terminology, some operations we have seen. Can you see the screen? Hello? Hello, Darshana. Screen is visible?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Look for that here. This is one force, 10 Newton. This is another force, 20 Newton. 10 plus 20 equals to 30. Look for that here. There is one more force, and that force equals to 15 Newton. It is not along this line of action. It has some inclination, and that inclination is 30 degree. Then, in this case, I can't add like this. 10 plus 20 plus 15 is not possible. So what I have to do? 10 I have to add plus 20 plus what projected length of this force is coming. That projected length I have to add. So this is the projected length, and on that day, this projected length we have considered as component, and that x component is 15 cos of 30 degree. And because of that reason, we have to go for one more operation, and that operation already we have discussed, and that operation is called as the resolution of the force. Okay, and because of that reason, you have to work for resolution of the force. Then I will proceed for next and most important category of the problem, and that is problem related to concurrent coplanar force system. In exam, what type of question arises? Determine the resultant of given forces. This is one common one. Or determine the resultant of forces which are acting at particular point. Name of that point will be given as point A, point B, point or something like that. So look for that here. One simple problem I will check. Statement of that problem. If your notebook, please write that. Determine the magnitude and direction of the resultant force acting at point A. Determine the magnitude and direction of resultant force acting at point A. This is the statement of the problem. Look for it. Look for that. These are total 4 forces acting at point A. This is called as a concurrent coplanar force system. You have to find out the resultant of these forces, which is exactly what I have to do. These 4 forces I have to club together into number 1. That single force is called as a resultant. Possibility of that resultant may be in first quadrant, maybe in second, maybe in third, or maybe in fourth. That we don't know. Look for that. Time being, what I will do, I will call this as axis CX. This vertical axis, this axis I will denote by letter 1. Inclination of this force, this I will consider as 60 degree, 60 degree. And shear, look for that shear. Some idea I will add. Sometimes direct inclination is not given. Slope is given. The slope of this line is provided. Based on that slope, you have to find out angle. How to find out everything I will explain. Look for that. This force is 100 Newton. 100 Newton. Magnitude is given. This force is 200 Newton. 200 Newton. This is 50 Newton. 50 Newton. 50 Newton. And this equals to 35 Newton. 35 Newton. At point A, total 4 forces are acting. Number 1, 35 Newton to the left. Number 2, 100 Newton. For time being, I will call it is acting in first quadrant. Actually, it is not first quadrantal position, but just to understand, I am calling. This is acting along negative y-axis, and this force is in fourth quadrant. For time being, we can call it is in fourth quadrant. Okay. What is first step? Our first step is to resolve all forces into their x as well as y component. This work directly you have to do. And how it understands you In that language you have to do. What I am doing, it is immaterial. How you can understand, accordingly sketches you have to draw. Since this is a starting problem or first problem, what I will do, I will go very systematically and accordingly I will explain. Look for that. This is 100. First what I will do, this 100 Newton, I will mark 100 Newton, 100 Newton. This is the force. Its angle is what? Angle is 60 degree with the x-axis, 60 degree with the x-axis. For this force, there are two projected lengths. One is along the x-axis. So this is the projected length. And if I am looking from the top, I feel that this force is not inclined, it is directed to the right. Directed to the right. That's why direction to the right is given. In side view, what I feel, this is your y-axis. Projected length of this force on y-axis is this. This is the projected length. It's like thick line I am drawing. So these are x and y components of 100 Newton force. Then what I have to do, on that day you have seen how to find out magnitude. Okay, so this is 100. Angle made by the force with x-axis is 60 degree. So this component is 100 cos of 60. 100 cos 60. And this component is what? 100 sin 60. 100 cos 60 and 100 sin 60. Now you tell me, what is 100 cos 60? Cos 60 is how much? Cos 60, we will tell. Cos 60.
1/2.
Half.
Cos 60 is 0.5, I know. So 100 multiplied by 0.5 is what? 50 Newton. So this is 50 Newton. Now you tell me what is sin 60?
Root 3/2.
3/2.
Don't tell root 3 by 2. Forget what
0.86.
you have done at 11th and 12th. Work with calci.
0.86.
Open your
0.86.
calci. Confirm that calci is in degree mode or not. On display at the bottom, capital D or capital R comes. Capital D stands for a degree mode. So compatibility is in degree. So our angles are given in degree. In 99% cases, not 99, 99.99% cases, angles are given in degree mode, not in radian. So don't keep your calci in radian mode. Always you have to see on display at the bottom capital D is visible or not. If capital D is there, it indicates that your calci is working in degree mode. Okay. So now tell me sin 60 how much it can?
0.86.
0. Very nice. So 100 multiplied by 0.866 is how much? 86.6. Is it correct? Is it okay or not? Okay. So these are the components of 100 Newton. So 100 is resolved into two components. One is along x-axis, so it is 100 cos 60. Second one is along y-axis, that is 100 sin 60. Okay. These components very systematically I have shown here just to understand. Whenever you are marking these components in sketch, you can mark anywhere. It doesn't affect on your calculations because our calculations are numerical calculations. So this is 100 cos 60 equals to 50 Newton. That I will mark here. So now look for that here. This is 50 Newton, and along y-axis, this component is 86.66 Newton. 86.6 Newton. 86.6. So this 100 Newton force is resolved into two components. So one is this component and second one is this component. So these are the components. Okay. This is the situation. Then similarly, this 200 I have to resolve into x as well as y component. So look for that here. This is 200, x component comes like this, y component goes like this. What is direction? If this is downward direction, x component goes to the right and y component goes in downward direction like this. If this direction is upward, that is pointing towards A, same components must be in this way. X component is upward, sorry, X component is to the left and Y component is upward. Please remember these ideas. What are the directions of forces? These directions of forces defines the directions of component forces also. Instead of away from this point, if 100 Newton is also acting towards the point, your X component goes to the left and Y component comes in downward direction. That also you have to remember. Now look for that. Very systematically, I have explained how this 100 I have to resolve into two components and how these components you have to mark. The entire this 200 Newton also I will explain, but from next problem onwards, don't go for such type of basics. Directly on its line of action, you have to mark its X as well as Y component. So look for that. This 200 Newton force I will mark. This is 200 Newton force. 200 Newton. Passing through origin or this is a tail point, mark X as well as Y axis so that very easily you can find the projected length. Next. This is another style of giving angle, so that is called as a slope. So this is a very famous triangle in trigonometry or geometry. You can say 3, 4, 5. If this is 4, this is 3, hypotenuse must be equal to 5. So this is a right angle triangle. Then either this angle I am finding or this angle I am finding is one and the same. So 4 by 3 tan inverse. So in this angle theta I am considering. Tangent of theta equals to 4 divided by 3. So theta equals to tan inverse 4 by 3. What answer comes? Tan inverse 4 by 3. Is it confirmed? 53.13. 53.13. And please remember, henceforth, please here, what you have to remember. Very speedily you have to calculate. Don't find what cos 60 is coming. You must know 0.5. What sin 60 is coming. All these answers you must know. What you should know: cos 0, sin 0, cos 45, sin 45, cos 60, sin 60, cos 90, and sin 90. Please mute yourself. Okay, so cos and sin 0, cos and sin 30, cos and sin 45, cos and sin 60, and cos and sin 90. And along with that, tan 60, if you are able to understand, it's good. Otherwise, cos by sin by cos equals to tan. That already you know. Look for that. This angle is 53.1. 53.1. This is very famous triangle in our discussion. So don't use calci. 4 by 3 angle is 53.13. And in reverse order, if it is 3 and this is 4, it is 3 by 4 tan inverse. It comes as 36.87. So these values you have to keep in your memory. Don't waste time by calci. Okay. This is 200. Projected length of 200 Newton along x-axis. This is the projected length. This is projected length. If I am drawing side view of 200 Newton, this side view is coming, and I feel that y component is going in downward direction. X component is nothing but 200 cos 53.13. 200 cos of 53.13. What answer comes?
200.60.
How much?
200.60.
200.60 or 100.60? Confirm? 200 cos of 53.13.
120, sir.
Yes.
120.
120.
120. Is it correct? 120. And please tell me this. 200 sin 53.13. What answer comes?
159.9.
159.9 or it has 160 because 159.9999 is coming. So take round value and that equals to 160. In that way, this 200 Newton is resolved into two components, and this resolved component you can mark anywhere, anywhere. So this is 120 and this downward is 160. This is a very simple but very important assignment for solving each and every problem. So first job is we have to resolve given forces into x and y component. That is number one. If you are perfect in this, then only your all answers are perfect. Otherwise, no. Any difficulty here? These sketches which I have drawn are just to understand. These sketches are not having any significance or any meaning in solving the problem. Rather, these sketches are not required. It is understood that everyone knows this resolution work. So in that way, this resolved component you have to mark. Now I am perfect. In this case, everything is resolved into their x as well as y component. This is step number one. Step number two. If your notebook, please write. By taking the algebraic sum of x component of forces. By taking the algebraic sum of x component of forces. That is summation fx. Summation fx. In doing this, what you have to do? If force is to the right, or it is positive. And vice versa. If it is left, it is negative for you. Then what I have to do? One by one, I have to take sum of x component of forces. This is acting to the right. Acting to the right is plus 50. Plus 50. This writing Newton every time is not required, just 50 I will do. 50. Then it is plus 120. Plus 120. And this 35 is already to the left, minus 35. Minus 35. So please tell me the answer. 50 plus 120 minus 35. Yes?
135.
135.
135? Okay, 135. Plus or minus?
Plus.
Plus 135 Newton. 135 Newton. The answer is plus. So, perfectly you are right in this way of 135 Newton. Answer is plus. It indicates that it is acting to the right. Acting to the right. So, summation of Fs is nothing but x component of the expected resultant. Answer is 135. It is positive. It indicates that it is acting to the right. Similarly, next line, please write. Similarly, by taking the algebraic sum of y component of forces, that is summation fy. Summation fy. And in this case, upward is positive. Upward is positive. That writing does not require. Just is the first problem. Just to understand everything I am saying, actually it is not required. Then start from any force. I will start from this. 86.6. Upward plus 86.6. Then 160 downward minus 160. 50 is also downward minus 50. Minus 50. So please tell me
minus 123.4.
Just only one second, girl. Please tell me. Please tell me once again.
Minus 123.4.
Minus 133.4. 120.
23.
Minus 123.4. Is it correct?
Yes.
Okay. Minus 123.4. Minus sign. Minus sign gives us idea that y component of the resultant is not acting upward. It is
Downward.
acting downward. So what you have to do equals to 123.4 you have to write in it is Newton, and in bracket you have to give downward direction. Very simple thing you have to do. Please remember, whenever plus minus something you are writing, in bracket left, right, upward, downward, nothing comes. But when everything is plus, final answer must be with perfect direction. So 135, answer is plus, right. 123.4, answer is minus, is downward. And in that way, you have calculated x and y component of the resultant. This is third step. Fourth, with this you have to find out magnitude of the resultant. So please write, and hence the magnitude of the resultant force capital R equals to square root of summation of Fx square plus summation of Fy square. This is your next step. Then this is 135 square plus 123.4 bracket square. Calculate and tell me the answer. Square root of, yes,
182.90.
182.90. Is it correct? Please write in your notebook also. 182.90 Newton is magnitude of the resultant. This is your answer number one. Answer number one. This is also answer. This is also answer. Okay? Answer number one. Then, the next and most important step is to find out the direction of the resultant force. Before finding direction of the resultant force, once again I will summarize. Number 1, 2, 3, and 4. 4 forces, time being, we have converted into 2. One is this 135, second one is this 123.4 Newton. And you have calculated magnitude of the resultant. This is single. Whenever you are finding magnitude of the resultant, along with that, it is advisable to draw one sketch. What is the meaning of sketch? That also I will explain. Look for that. X component is to the right, so mark one arrow to the right. Y component is downward. What this indicates? It indicates that this is X component of the resultant, this is Y component of the resultant, and hence the direction of the resultant must be like this, and this is your resultant, and this is angle theta, which is angle made by the resultant with x-axis. And that I told, ours is the quadrantal position. There are possible 4 locations of the resultant. One is in first quadrant, second is in second quadrant, third may be in third quadrant, and last is in fourth quadrant. So your resultant is located here, that you have to show by such type of sketching. So when you are drawing such type of sketch, then it gives a exact idea that our resultant is like this. Its angle made by resultant with positive x-axis measured into opposite direction is angle theta, and then only we can find out theta. Many students, they are not drawing this scale. If you are not drawing this scale, this calculation of angle theta doesn't have any meaning. Or it has total 8 meaning. 8 meaning. Number one, which 8? It may be in first quadrant, second, third, or fourth. That is number one. This angle theta, either I am measuring with x-axis or y-axis, that is number 2. So 2 multiplied by 4, that is 8 possibility. So your answer is 1/8 right. 1/8 right. That is 1/8 is your accuracy. Okay. So for 100% accuracy, you have to draw such type of line of action of the resultant and its angle made by the resultant with nearest x-axis theta. Below that. And hence, the direction of resultant force theta equals to tan inverse summation of Fy divided by summation of Fx. That is tan inverse summation of Fy is 123.4 divided by 135. And with this, you will get angle theta. Please tell me.
42.429.
Yes?
42.429.
42.4 degree. One more digit if it is coming, please write that digit. Now, one simple question I will ask for you. What I wrote theta equals to tan inverse summation of Fy divided by summation of Fx. Tan inverse summation of Fy 123.4 I wrote here. Actually, this 123 was with minus sign. Have I included this minus sign here? No. Just tell me why that minus sign I have not included. Or is there any mistake? That also you have to tell me. Just magnitude I have considered, directly angle I got, that angle I have written. Cognizance of this minus sign I have not taken. If you are writing minus sign here, you will get different angle. Please confirm that also. So now you tell me why this negative sign is not included here, as well as here also minus sign I have not included. Don't tell square of minus sign and square of plus sign is same. It is coincidence we can say, but here also that minus sign I have not taken into account. Similarly, here also I have not taken cognizance of minus sign. Why? And who will answer for this? I can say that he might have perfectly understood what exactly we have to do. Please let me know why this minus sign is not included for 123. Actually, it is with minus sign.
Sir, it is magnitude.
It is?
Sir, it is magnitude.
No. Angle theta we are calculating. Angle theta we are calculating. Theta is direction, and direction means vector work. Yes. Next.
The Fy direction is showing upwards.
Direction is showing upwards.
Upwards.
No. Again, try a little bit.
Direction can never be negative.
You are slightly correct, but you are not coming to the perfect answer. But whatever you told is correct. Someone can try.
So the negative sign is used to indicate
Force
the
cannot be
Rida
negative.
Skedkar, Janavi,
Sir, the negative sign is used to indicate the direction.
Janasri, Aman Pathak, Aditya, many Aditya are there.
Sir, force cannot be taken as negative.
Okay, now try to understand. This line was drawn just to get direction of the resultant. This direction of the resultant, how I have located that first I will explain. I have considered what is direction of x component of the resultant equals to the right. So right. Y component of the resultant is acting down, so down is marked. X component is to the right and Y component is downward. It suggests us that resultant is directed in between these two. Look for that. This work is vice versa of this. To find out components of this, I have considered this force, and by looking from the top and sideward, what directions of components are coming are defined. Now here, by knowing directions of the components, you have to mark resultant. So accordingly, resultant was marked. Same case, I will redraw. Now look for that. X component is to the right, X component is to the right. This is summation of Fx. Y component is downward. Just what I will do, Y component is downward. Y component is downward. Where I have to mark, here I have to mark. But instead of marking there, what I will do, I will mark here. And this is your summation of F. How I can mark here? Look for that. Because on first day you have seen this right angle triangle, this rectangle can be converted very easily into the parts of right angle triangle. Because this I can convert it in terms of rectangle. This Y component, this magnitude, either I am measuring here or either I am measuring here, meaning remains same. This Y component is drawn here or drawn here, meaning remains same. With that help, what I am doing, this Y component, instead of marking here, I am marking here. Look for that. Actually, I have to mark here, but I have not marked here. I have marked there. Because this summation of Fx, we can mark here, we can mark here. Summation of Fy, I can mark here, I can mark here. Why I have marked here? I have marked there to get the benefit of right angle triangle geometry. And according to right angle triangle geometry, this diagonal of the rectangle is nothing but hypotenuse of the triangle, and this is your resultant, and this is angle theta. So very, very carefully, if you are considering this as the right angle triangle, now look for that. This is your right angle triangle, and that right angle triangle geometry and using. So question of plus and minus sign doesn't arise here. Magnitude of this hypotenuse is what? Resultant equals to square root of summation of Fx square plus summation of Fy square. So according to law of Pythagoras or Pythagoras theorem, this hypotenuse r equals to square root of this side square plus this side square, simply magnitude you are finding. So no question of minus sign is arising here. Similarly, theta equals to, or tangent of theta equals to front side of the right angle triangle divided by adjacent side of same right angle triangle. So theta equals to tan inverse of summation of Fy divided by summation of Fx. So tan inverse of summation of Fy divided by summation of Fx, in this case, just what I am doing, front side and adjacent side I am considering. Okay, so front and adjacent side I am considering. That's why question of plus and minus sign doesn't arise there. Okay, so this is the end of your problem. Two answers we have to see. This is answer number 1. This is answer number 2. There is one more answer, and that is last step of your steps involved, whatever I have given. That is position of the resultant. Please remember, in case of concurrent force system, either it is coplanar or non-coplanar. In case of concurrent coplanar force system, all forces are acting at one point. That's why resultant force is also acting at same point. So this is point A. Already I have marked here. So in case of concurrent coplanar force system, Varignon's theorem is invalid, or Varignon's theorem is not required, because position of the resultant is already defined and resultant always passes through that point only. Please remember this. So whenever you are solving any problem related to concurrent, only these many steps are involved. Please remember that. So your first step is resolve forces into x and y component. After that, go for algebraic sum of x component of forces. Then you go for algebraic sum of y component of forces. Then calculate magnitude of the resultant. After finding magnitude of the resultant, then you have to define its direction. To define its direction, what is direction of summation of fx and summation of fy, that you have to realize. There are total 4 possibilities of the resultant. Your resultant may be like this. For timing, I am calling it the 4th quadrant. Actually speaking, that word is not 100% perfect because forces are never related to quadrantal position. How you are defining quadrant, accordingly that position changes. For time being, call it is 4th quadrant. Next possibility, 1st quadrant. Third possibility, 2nd quadrant. And one more possibility, that is 3rd quadrant. So first you have to define with respect to origin, what is perfect direction of the resultant. Either 1st, 2nd, 3rd or 4th. And that is possible only by the sign conventions of summation of fx and summation of fy. And accordingly, it was defined. The same knowledge I have explained by different way also. And then resultant you will get, theta you will get, resultant is magnitude, theta is direction. And for concurrent coplanar forces are concerned, these many steps are enough. There is no necessity to proceed for last step, that is position of the resultant. And even if someone is asking, what about position of the resultant? Very simply you have to say, or you have to answer that all forces are acting at point A, so definitely resultant has to pass through point A only. So friends, what we have done in this simple exercise, total 4 forces are given you. Second problem may be related to 5 forces, 10 forces, whatever it may be. If they are acting at point A, this is problem related to concurrent coplanar force system. First job is to find out the x and y component of the forces, then go for summation of fx, go for summation of fy, go for finding of magnitude of the resultant, draw this case, and go for finding of magnitude of angle theta. And this 182.9 and 42.4 degree is the perfect answer of given concurrent coplanar force system. So friends, such type of problems are coming related to concurrent coplanar force system. Many more problems related to concurrent that we have to discuss. So what I will appeal to you, because this is online coaching, please remember, you are also facing difficulty like that we are also facing difficulty. I am trying to work more and more hard. I am trying to go for very minute observation and I am trying to explain each and everything. But what you will understand that exactly, I don't know. So this online is having some limitations, and in that limitation, I am trying to explore you more and more. So from your side also, you have to cooperate a lot. Don't be lethargic. Whenever I'm solving, now look for that here. If it is offline class, in 1 hour, such type of 3 to 4 problems we can attend. But this is online, I have to go through all these details, what you understood, what you have not understood, that I don't know. Okay? That's why very slowly I have to proceed. So whenever slowly we are moving, definitely number of problems we can't take. So what you have to do, simultaneously at home, related to that, some more problems you have to attend. So what I will appeal, at present situation, I will not give problem, but on net also, you'll find so many e-books, or if you are having some soft copies, or if you are having some hard copies, or maybe notes, something like that. In engineering mechanics, what exactly you have to do? If you are referring several textbooks, that is also objectionable. Refer anything, but solve problems by your method only. If you are solving 10 problems by different methods, that becomes mixture in your mind and you are unable to understand. So if really you have to understand the mechanics, then solve minimum with perfect understanding. I'm not saying that solve maximum. If you are solving more and more problems, definitely it becomes practice for you. Nothing wrong in that. Nothing wrong in that. But if you are unnecessarily solving 100 to 100 problems without understanding, it's of no use. Or many students, what they are doing, they are trying to solve many more problems from different books, but different methods which are given in that book, that methods they are referring. That is also objectionable. That is also completely wrong. Solve the problem with your method, and then only you will become perfect in mechanics. If you are adopting many more methods, then it becomes mixture in your mind, and finally what exactly